perhaps something redemptive can actually come out of the disclosures that Josh Buice, who's the pastor and president of G3 Ministries, actually had several fake accounts, which he used to grossly slander pastors, entire denominations, speakers from his own G3 conference, and even his own elders. Now, as a rule, I don't think it's a really good practice to criticize a man when he's down, because no doubt his church and his ministry and definitely his family are reeling from the revelations of Dad's rather duplicitous dealings, nor do I think it's wise to rush to make a video to get views. Taking the time to think this through, receive godly counsel, so that hopefully this will be an offering for the good of the body. With that as our backdrop, with that as my goal, I believe now is the time to address an elephant that has overstayed its welcome in the room of conservative Christians. And that elephant, it's the spirit of censoriousness, hypercriticism, really unloving critiques of other brothers and sisters, which ultimately leads to division. And while I did not have a ringside seat to all of Josh's behind-the-scenes maneuverings, I sat closely enough to know that Josh did more than post scandalous things about his elders and G3 speakers. His online assaults, in my opinion, are merely the tip of the iceberg. Conservative evangelicals have witnessed a great divorce, and I believe it was instigated and driven in great part by Josh Buice. It's my opinion that he's responsible, not entirely, but in great measure, for the division that we've seen in our circles for the last 7-8 years. Josh ignited, fueled, and fanned the flames of division. And I think the recent revelations have made that clear. Josh relentlessly sought to cause division among friends. And this has been devastating to the body. And we have all been the losers in this game of division. Please note, not all, but most, whatever percentage that is, most of these divisions can be traced directly to what is known as the Dallas Statement on Social Justice and the Gospel, which was organized by Josh Buice, who was also the organizer of the original Dallas meeting, which I attended. And to be sure, there are today some men with whom we should have divided regarding CRT. That is certain, but Josh led the charge to divide with brothers who, for the sake of their own ministries, for the sake of their own consciences, refused to sign the statement, or they refused to be as publicly outraged about critical race theory as Josh determined we should be. And I think it's also worth noting that while G3 claimed to be a sub-church ministry, that it comes underneath local churches to support them and not tell them what to do or believe, I think Josh did exactly that. No quarter was given. To be clear, I affirm everything in the statement. I don't have an issue with the statement. I'm just saying this is what the statement was used for: division. And I think this is evident as you examine the speaking roster of G3. Men who were once speakers were no longer invited to participate. Why? Because they did not sign the Dallas Statement, and they were considered compromisers, if not outright woke. I was one of them, but I wasn't alone. And while I can't speak for every person that Josh led us to believe are woke, I can't say that because there are some people that it's been disclosed have been woke, but not all of the brothers who refused to sign the Dallas Statement are woke. And I know that because, well, I called them and I asked them, and they're not woke. Not all of them. Might we have disagreements with these men on some of the nuances of social justice? Yeah, but should we separate from these men with whom we don't see eye to eye on every jot and tittle? I don't think so. Josh did, and he led many others to do likewise. And this has been a devastating era for conservatives. And I would like to forward a modest proposal. Now that the Josh Buice cat is out of the bag, perhaps it's time for 3 things to happen. I offer these in the spirit of desiring to help, and not to be censorious myself, wouldn't that be kind of ironic? But to offer help for the building up of the body in love. Glean these as you see fit. Let's start, number one, with asking the question, if Josh Buice pretended to be someone else online in order to slander his own elders and speakers from his own conference, shouldn't we now assess the damage he caused and ask if we were misled by a man who was willing to cause division at virtually all costs? Just asking. Second, well, I can't say that we should reconcile with each and every person who didn't sign the Dallas Statement. That's, I think, pretty obvious, but perhaps we can enjoy fellowship and be blessed by brothers who simply didn't sign the statement for the sake of the ministries that they're charged to protect, or it violated their consciences. I think we have enough distance now in the rearview mirror to conclude, oh, these guys are really conservative, and they're persevering, and they're doing really good ministry. And yeah, I disagree with them on maybe this or that, but maybe they're not woke. And maybe, just maybe, we can enjoy unity with them again and be blessed by them again. Third, can we please stop, all of us, stop contributing to the toxic tone and tenor of our online conversations with fellow believers? Can we please stop following, listening to, and subscribing to those who are willing to throw down the gauntlet regarding any and all disagreements? Gossip requires a host. And if we're not willing to play the host, then gossip, it's just not going to find a home. It can grow no root. Factiousness blooms because of gossip. And it's warned against repeatedly in Scripture. And it's time for us, all of us, myself included, to heed those warnings. So when you hear a man or woman who's willing to criticize with little or no charity, an Orthodox brother, look, I'm not talking about all discernment. I'm not talking about calling out heretics, nor am I even talking about not debating with our brothers and sisters about theological issues if it's done lovingly. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the machetes that are wielded against our brothers and sisters, which would give the world the impression that we don't love each other. We seem to really resent one another. If you're listening, watching those types of conversations, might I encourage you to consider unsubscribing? Or if it happens to be in polite conversation, politely dismiss yourself. Maybe it's time to stop reading all of the online brawls that seem to explode every day on X. Stop, please, following those who sounded right like, well, Josh Buice. We can put this era behind us. We all need to do better at this, including me. It ain't easy to be conservative and charitable simultaneously. But that's what we're called to. And perhaps this is our wake-up call. Perhaps this revelation, it's given us the opportunity to stop being unnecessarily divisive. Perhaps this debacle has given us an opportunity to re-examine some of our evangelical divorces and perhaps restore some relationships that should have never been severed. Wouldn't it be nice to once again have fellowship with some of our estranged brothers who were set outside the camp by a man who besmirched his own elders anonymously? I think so. Permit me to add this nota bene. If you're wondering, hey, who are you talking about? About which men are you speaking? I haven't named names on purpose. Who should be in and who should be out, because I'm not the man to determine those things. To do so would be to commit the same censorious judgment that we're actually talking about that caused so much division. I'm merely encouraging us to not let this opportunity for something really spectacular to happen. Jesus wants us to have unity when it's based on agreement of the essentials. He wants that unity, and we should too. And if you do your part, I'll endeavor to do mine, and I'll ask you to help me do just that. We do need to correct, exhort, and even rebuke one another. I invite that, but let's do that while speaking truth in love. Discuss. Thanks to you, the Fortis Institute launch, massive success, more resources, more people being reached, more trusted voices, and not to be greedy, but we want to reach even more people. We want to keep the momentum going, so we're launching a Truth Unhindered campaign. It's a two-pronged campaign. Number one, we're going to go on an aggressive marketing campaign to identify churches, good, bad, and otherwise, around the globe that need resources, individuals that need Bible studies and biblical resources. And then prong number two, we're going to give it all away. I mean, we already give away a lot of content, but we're going to close the store. All of our resources will now be free. We believe we can reach exponentially more people with great gospel resources, but we need your help. We have a match and give campaign. Every dollar you give, it will be matched. Would you join us for Truth Unhindered? FortisInstitute.org/donate.